Hello friends. So now we are here with the topic of the computer. So what is computer? All of us know what is computer because we are dealing with the day-to-day life with a computer, a system. So how we interact with the computer, with some devices, with some tools. So we need to understand what both parties in the interaction. So principally on the traditional computer, we also look at the devices that takes beyond the world closed world of keyboard, mouse and screen. Okay, so computer is mainly based on your keyboard, your screen, your pointer device or trackpad and so on. So interaction is therefore a process of information your transfer. Correct, this has been your from school, from your school life you started knowing what is computer, what is hardware, what is software, and how do you understand those things, because day to day we deal with the system only. We develop, in fact, in our mobile phone we download the application, that is we download one software, we use that software. With that software we can use our online shopping also. So there are certain things that carried on, that are carried on. But how actually this works? So relating to this electronic computer, the same principles hold. Interaction is a process of information transfer. So from input to output, output to input, no. Input to output, yes, because of the input devices we get the output on the screen, and later again the output from the printer also, yes. So speaking about the computer, it's include, if you see the inner detail parts or the detailed thing, the processor, the memories, the motherboard and so on, that are how they are clubbed together, how they are being integrated on the motherboard and how they function, how they work. Of course, that is a hardware part. It is one of the aspects. So these details, what type of motherboard we use, what how many RAM, how much is my RAM, or what type of processor I'm been using or I'll use, is the latter part. We are not with the deal to this. So the interface designer needs to be aware of the limitation of storage capacity and computational power. So first we see about the devices. The devices is first about the keyboard. So first thing is alphanumeric keyboard. The keyboard is still a most common input devices is used in today. So it is used for your entering textual data and the commands. So normally it has a 26 key layout, rearranges the order of the alphabet letters. Then it has, so in addition to QWERTY, QWERTY, if you see the upper side of a keyboard, they it's earlier it's about your the layout of the digit and the letters of QWERTY keyboard is fixed, but non-alphabetic keys are vary between this. So there is also standard layout. Also, this there is a subject of variation placement of brackets, your black slashes, and your numeric keys also. Then you have ergonomics use of DV Devrock keyboard and split design. So how this was used, or how the different types, different specific of keyboard were altered or changed at that time. So earlier it was a Devorok keyboard, and the split designs, like it uses a similar layout of the keys to the QWERTY system. I think the BlackBerry cell phone used DVORA key, but it assigns the letters to different keys. So based upon the analysis or the type of typing of the keyboard designed to help people reach faster typing speed, and it was biased towards right hand people, like 56% of keystrokes are made with the right hand. So it is something aspect like how the keys are typed. So maybe reducing fatigue and increasing the speed. The layout also aims to minimize the number of keystrokes made with the weak fingers. We are not into it like how weak fingers and how actually it works, how fatigue it is like. So typing or working on the keyboards for a long time is the finger pains. Now, chord keyboard. So, chord keyboard are significantly different from normal alphanumeric keyboard, and only few keys of 4 to 5 are used. So, it's such as micro writer. The patterns of multi-key presses is chosen to select the actual shape. So, they are extremely compact. Now, what happens is chord keyboards can be used when only one-handed operation is possible, and it's cramped, confined conditions. So they are unlikely ever to the mainstream form of text entry, but they do not have applications area. Now next is phone, pad and T9 entry. So this is like your phone your phone has your keypad. So with mobile phone use being used for your SMS, text changing, and back the phone keypad has number and has become an important form of text input. So the main number two letter mapping is standing card, but punctuation and executed letters different from phones. Now they have the three key has D E F. So D, if you press three times, imagine the Nokia earlier, the Nokia, Samsung, I don't know, but the Nokia, if you have seen that when D E F was written only printed on one key. So for the E, you have to press double D, then for F to print, press D, then you just see E, then F. The thrice you have to press. So have you seen the difference between how the key was pressed earlier to get the F? So for a long time, but now since QWERTY has been come with the QWERTY, so it's easy or convenient to press any letter or to make any sentence. Now also there is example of automatically capitalizing the initial letter in the message and the letters following full stop, question mark, and so on. So they have two, and most of the phones have two modes of numeric button. While the key means the digit, and one they have mean for the letter. So this was the use. Then another technical solution to the problem was the T9 algorithm. Then later, this uses a large this uses a large dictionary to disambiguate words by simply typing the relevant letter once. So for example, like the number becomes the example, there is only one word with the letter. So this was quite difficult for it. Then you have devices like handwritten recognition. So handwritten is a common and familiar activity, and therefore it's attractive as methods of text entry. So we were able to write as we would when we use paper, but but with the paper that is taking the form of input and converting to text like a printer. So how printer works? The printer takes the input as a text and gives the paper imprinting on it. So it interacts with the system because certain things we need to adjust from ourselves. Now, current technology is still fairly inaccurate and it so makes insignificant numbers of mistakes recognizing. Then, this means that device which support handwriting recognition must capture the stroke information, not just the final shape. Nowadays, there is a pen is available with the phone and that is stylus. Of course, the stylus when you write it on the phone on the screen, it comes up. It can be used for your animation for drawings also. So because of this, online recognition is far easier than handwritten on paper. Further complication arises because letter within words are shaped and often drawn up very differently depending on the actual word. So pen-based approach does not have altered, they have not changed. So yet we are still jotting down text to sketching diagrams or pen-based input highly appropriate. Then you have a mouse pointing device. Now we are going to a pointing device. So it's like clicking the mouse. So first thing is mouse. About the mouse, what is mouse? When you move the cursor changes from one to how the mouse works. Yes, first you had a rubber ball inside that was mechanical mouse. Then we have optomechanical. Then we have optical mouse. How the mouse change its tradition, the working of the mouse. So there was a tail connecting, and that was linked to a CPU cabinet that it was plugged. Then when you use the mechanical mouse, you had the two roller inside with a ball. Every time there's a dust percolate on the ball, the roller was placed in XY directions and the ball was between them. So that ball used to move. If you remember your working of first mechanical mouse, then you have optomechanical, that ball was inside, there were XY drums also, a cylindrical shape drum, and still there was a light between the cursor, the three buttons is used, and you just hover the mouse around your mouse pad, but the dust thing always comes up. The relative motion information is passed to the computer while a wire is attached to the box. So that means it's called the cursor. So the arrow pointing move across the screen. The whole arrangement tends to look around with a box acting as the body and the wire as the tail. Hence that the mouse, in addition to detecting the motion, the mouse has typically one or two, three buttons. So single button mice tend to have a similar functionality to multi-button mice, and a double click is when the button is pressed twice in a rapid succession. So a mouse operates in a planar fashion. And so there is also the joystick is that is an isometric joystick than the mouse. The cursor is moved by the foot pressure if there is a allowed one dedicated to keyboard, and there are foot pedals. The foot pedals are used heavily as a musical instrument. If you see the pianos, the big pianos, the guitars okay by hand, but in case there is a set of the musical, the foot pedals is used to control your music and so on. Then you have next is touchpad. So touchpads are very sensitive tablets. Nowadays, the tablets that are available. So the Apple Book has an iPad. So how you work with help of the touch. So how the touch is simulated with the operations on your iPod because there is a small. It requires a several stroke to move the cursor across the screen. This can be improved by using the accelerating setting in the software linking. So a trackpad movement of the track or movement to the track system. Now, later what happens is if the finger is moving quickly, the same distance on the touchpad moves the cursor for a long distance. Now, the form of acceleration setting, the size feel of the trackball is effort significant difference in the usability of the device. The thumb wheels are different in their two orthogonals designed to control the cursor position. So, how you work with the uh, trackball? Now, once the Okay, so now inside the trackball, we are in the trackball is just really upside down mouse. Now what happens is it's the indirect device and it requires separate buttons for selection. It is fairly required, but it is hard to draw as long as the movements are difficult. So trackballs now appear in a wide variety of sizes. The most usual being about the same as a golf ball with a number of large and small devices. And thumb wheels are different in their two orthogonal dials to control the cursor position. So such as a device that is very cheap and but slow, it is difficult to manipulate with the cursor in that horizontal vertical direction. So another successful application for such device has been drawing game as such as sketch in which the straight lines can be created. So it's like two-axis thumb wheel are not heavily used in a mainstream application and they're often included in a standard mouse. So appropriate of this device depends on the task to be performed. Then you have joystick. Joystick is famous for the playing games as its input device. It takes a very little space and is connected to your screen. So it consists of a palm size box with a stick or a shaped grip sticking up. And there are two types of joysticks like absolute and isometric that depends on your shape, your positions, your characteristics, and how you're using the position of cursor on the screen. So this type of joystick is also velocity control joystick. Joysticks are inexpensive and they are fairly robust. That means they can outgo in the market, and for this reason, the computer have the games because the joysticks are inexpensive. And another reason for the dominance of the games because nowadays the technologies has included that platform has given us like the motherboard, the processor has given us the features of inbuilt multimedia and the animation so the people or the childrens love to play games on the computer. Then you have a touch screen. So touch screens, we are familiar with the touch screens. It's like method to allow the user to point and select objects clicking at the touch on the touch or on the screen, but they are much more direct than the mouse and they detect the presence of the user finger or the stylus of the screen itself. The touchscreen is very fast and it requires no specialized pointing device. So it is especially good for selecting items from menu displayed on the screen. So because the screen acts as an input device as well as the output device, there is no separate hardware to become damaged or destroyed by the dirt because dirt is, as I said, the dirt dust is the most important aspect that we need to think about cleaning the maintaining of a system. So there is no thing of destroying, but yes, your screen, your touch is sensitive, you need to use it very carefully. The touch screen is very fast and require no special pointing device. Then you have your stylus and light pen. So we'll start for more accurate positioning uh, and to avoid a greasy screen system with a touch sensitive surface often imply a stylus. So what is stylus? Which, as I mentioned you earlier, that you write on the pen on your screen. So it is with the help of your PDA device, the stylus or light pen can be used to write or draw. It's normally for the people who are entrepreneur or in a very senior most in a firm, that they are always work with those devices. They have to send the report, they have to work on it, and so on. So in contrast of your touchpad, your joystick, and track to map all the moments on the desk to cursor moment on your screen. Then it helps your the light pen can therefore address the individual pixel, so it is more used in your graphic industry. Then your digitizing tablet. So your tablet is a more specialized device typically used for your freehand drawing, but may be used as a mouse substitute, right? So what happens is its information, like you want to write the position of some device on a special pad or tablet can work. So it's like digitizing tablet can use small resolution. It's available in various sizes. Then you have eyes gaze. Eyes gaze allows you to control the computer by simply looking at it. So some system requires you to wear a special glasses like your 3D. You need to require your glasses because it directly affect your screen. An eyes gaze is a very fast and accurate device, but some accurate version can be expensive. And if we didn't talk about your human computer interface, it's particularly useful for your evaluation. So, because we are dealing with interactive systems, so these are the tools that can help you to identify what is required by the user. Later, you have your display devices. Now, the display devices can be a majority part of interactive computer system and would be unthinkable without some sort of display screen. But many such systems do exist. It usually specialized scheme. So first is your bitmap. Now, this is a display. It's made up of a vast numbers of color dot or pixel, that is a rectangular grid. So this pixel may be limited to your black and white. So it is in the form of dots. Now these pixels may be limited, as I said, in a gray or a full color dot. Then you have LCD. Nowadays we use the LCD screen. So this LCD utilizes your liquid crystal technology and are very small and lighter in weight. So actually what happens that there are three layers of screen that are built. If you see the mechanical working, it's quite difficult, or it's very different to explain. So they are referred as flat panel display. Now they have no radiation problem associated with them, and they are matrix addressable. So there is a liquid form and there are the crystals. So when the rays form, they are perpendicular reflected. The particular characteristic is that they're lightweight and low power consumption. Then you have a display device for virtual reality and 3D interaction. So these devices utilizes liquid crystal technology and they are very small and lighty weight. So nowadays they are in demand. It's because they are the light in demand, and since they are similar to the uh, digital watch or thin layer crystal which is sandwiched between the two plate glass. It's working like LCD working only the same. So the top plate is transparent and they polarized and bottom is reflective. So working in different location with different machine has a different styles of interaction, because now we are not concerned with the working of this technology. So these have a different working on this. Then you have a special display. So, what is the special display available? They have a random scan display, also known as directed beam refresh or vector display. So, it started from the bitmap. Like our bitmap, it is arranged in a triad form of those images pixels are arranged. So, instead of scanning the whole screen sequentially and horizontal, the random it shows in a line display so directly displayed. What happens is sometimes a problem of eye strains and fatigue develop because it reflects to our eyes. Then you have a large display and situated display. Then this means there are the large types of large screen display. They are very large screen. It's like plasma TV. If you can go for a cinema screen, the how the cinema screen are displayed are very huge. The display, so that there can be term as HDTV, high definition television. So when you talk about a large screen are required, so either they are small screen LCD or CRT. But when we talk about large, they have HDTV. So nowadays in the current technology, we use the if we have a home theater, we may it is use of HDTV, and they are smart HDTV, like they have access to your internet or your fire sticks, your USB, and so on. So these are well features as well as your lectures, meetings. So this display screen helps you in a various way. Then you have a digital paper. So in form of display, they have a infancy in various form of digital paper. And then electronics embedded into a material known as each tiny sphere to be rotated. So how it is a working mechanism, how they work. So when the electronic signal is removed, the ball stays in the last orientation. So as technology matures or technology progress, so these are the things, or these are the interactive systems that are available in the market, and we try to purchase, we try to work on it. Yes, for different fields, for different uh, work, they are being required. So we conclude this computer topic now, and we'll start with the memory for the next lecture.